our next session. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to keep going. So for those of you that are hanging on, thank you so much for hanging on with us, because I think this is going to be an amazing session on the new way that you can recruit top talent via everything virtual. Just a quick reminder for those of you who are new, just to get some quick housekeeping out of the way. So if you have joined us, welcome. So happy to have you here. We're glad to be back on the Try This at Work teams in 30 sessions. We took a break for a little bit, but now we're back in full force. We've got double-decker events planned all throughout June. And today's 12:30 session is on a new way to recruit top talent. Again, next Friday, we've got another double-decker for how to control people flow using both shifts and bookings. It's going to be awesome. Highly encourage you to attend that. And then quick and easy power apps. So one of my peers, Jonathan Turk, is going to walk us through how easy it is to get power apps up and running. So what are power apps? How to leverage the templates that exist out there, how to get up and running quickly, and then even how to implement and build out free power apps. Right. So again, we're not just pushing product here. We want you to be productive. We want you to be productive in a cost-effective manner. So again, really awesome sessions planned for next week. Okay. So with that, I am going to go ahead and we are going to, sorry, one more housekeeping item. For compliance reasons, again, because I work for Microsoft, I'm going to tell you all that, again, Kelly Cleland, Customer Success Manager at Microsoft and Try This at Work leader. For compliance reasons, I'm required to tell you that this is a public live event through Microsoft Teams. But the one thing is, if those of you authenticated through Teams, that your email is passed to us, but in no way, shape, or form are we using your email for any reason. I don't go look at it. I don't pull it. No one else sees it. It's purely just for the fact that it exists there in the report, but I don't pull that report down. If you're anonymous, I don't see that information. Gist of it is not using your information. You have nothing to worry about. It'll never see the light of day. Okay, so new way to recruit top talent. I'm super excited to talk about this one in terms of facilitating virtual career fairs and virtual recruiting. Something I think that's going to be ever so more important. So now that, the economy, I know we're still waiting to kind of see what happens with COVID here and if there's any upticks, but I think for the, immediate future, many things have gone virtual and you need to be able to have a platform to support that. And we want you to be able to do that within the current tool set that you own. So let's talk about that. So in the context of 365, I am going to, let me find I'm always forgetting which one I'm on. Okay. All right, let me shut these down here. Don't need those anymore. Okay. What I want to show you is that in the context of virtual events, right, virtual recruiting, one thing that I think is very important, and all the way back, I think, right, and I have Yammer up here, and this is our new Yammer Preview, by the way, which you should have access to as well. You can see my little toggle up here. This is, again, I'm logged in as myself here, and Yammer's been around for a very long time, but it's getting a complete overhaul and a revamp. And you've probably seen a lot of the screenshots, much like what I have up here on my screen. But the benefit of, leveraging Yammer in the context of reaching external candidates is that you're giving them a community to connect to your company. So you are really able to kind of really vet and get to know these individuals before, excuse me, they even become a part of your company. And establishing an external community inside of Yammer and inviting individuals, right? So you could create essentially, it could be a public registration form using Microsoft Forms, and basically register them and then invite them in to this external community. So in this case, we have this, external connection community, and this is where, we're essentially connecting with those potential candidates outside of the company and really promoting to them what's happening within our company, upcoming opportunities, virtual career fairs that we may be facilitating. So Yammer is going to give us a space that's going to allow us to do that. So here you're getting a little bit of a preview. So clearly this is an admin view, but you're getting a preview in terms of what this updated interface looks like and what you're able to do within it. So you can see here, pinned conversation, right? So today I set up what is essentially a mock virtual career fair for today, Friday, June the 5th. And this is basically pinned conversation because I wanted this up top because it's all about this current event that's happening today. In addition to that, you have the option of posting polls, right? So again, you're looking at deep engagement here. What do these folks want to hear about from a potential, candidate standpoint? Really being able to poll them live, the ability to post questions, so would you be interested in live breakout sessions with our top recruiters, and welcome message. Now, right, I unpinned this announcement for welcome to the external community. Here's how you get more information or how you get started within our community, because I wanted to call out this virtual career fair that we have going on today. So just know that you can pin and unpin. So for now, this one's pinned up here because it needs to be the focus. You don't need special software to have a virtual career fair. You actually have all the tools available to you at your fingertips within 365, and they're all included with the licensing that you have, within the enterprise suite. So what I want to show you is that I have this, essentially this virtual career fair set up in this job fair for, we'll just Contoso company for the sake of this. And you can see here that I actually created a live event. So you can see this little create live event button over here. What this is going to do is it's going to create, right without even leaving Yammer, it's going to create a live event essentially for inside of Yammer for my external group. So it's really, really nice because then any events that I have going on, depending on how many events I have scheduled, so it could be June, July, August, September, however you may want to structure it. But basically those live events are going to be going on. And you can see here that this live event is actually going on right now. So I'm just going to click that. And you're going to see here, I'm not, so I started the live event and left it. Yes, it's still running. You can do that. But you can see here that I'm not actually sharing anything, which is why it says it'll continue in a moment. But you can see here that it's live. So this is actually the experience that the attendee is going to see. So, right, how does that facilitate a virtual career fair? Well, the way that we think about this is that when you're talking about a virtual career fair, a lot of times, or even just a career fair in general, someone's walking up to your booth. Well, the first thing that you're generally talking about is the company, right? So this virtual event that I created, at least in the context of the way that I was thinking about it, is that you would facilitate essentially a keynote, letting them know about, an overview of the company, letting them know more about the culture, about the leadership, about the goals and values of the company. Right. So in the way that I set this up here is that basically this keynote would run every hour on the hour throughout the duration of the event. In addition to that, right, so that's your keynote session, very generalized. Again, it's being facilitated out throughout the day. You could have the same presenter, presenting that information again every top of the hour, every half hour, whatever the case may be. You could even schedule more than one keynote, depending on if you actually want to talk about in the context of your actual opportunities that you have. You could have a main keynote talking about the company, and then you could have, mini events that are essentially keynotes around specific roles. There's no limit to you in terms of the amount of live events that you can schedule. But there is I will say you can run, it's 15 simultaneous live events. So just don't go over that threshold and you'll be okay. So now another thing is, well, Kelly, what about breakout sessions? A lot of times when individuals are walking up to booths, they may talk to more than one person. Fantastic thought. So this is the way from a breakout session perspective that this was set up. So remember, I showed you, if you were hanging on from the last session, I talked to you about bookings. I'm actually going to show you how you can schedule. So you can see here in my post about this event, please click here to sign up for one of our amazing breakout sessions. Now, you could post this during the event. You could post this prior to the event. It's really up to you in terms of how you're going to schedule this in bookings. So if I click this, what it's going to do is it's going to take me to my bookings page. This is a public page that individuals will have access to essentially be able to create a deeper connection. So there's essentially two different types of service that we have here. So in the case of breakout sessions, what I did just for an example is that I showed breakout sessions that are kind of aligned to maybe some best practices or more information that these potential candidates, they want to get more information about soft skill development, interviewing best practices, executive engagement. So these were based off of just topic. Really, these could be anything. In addition to that, what I'm going to show you is this book one-on-one recruiter appointment. So if I select this, what's going to happen is that I can basically see, so I'm going to just, select a certain date, and I'm going to see, okay, so June 11th is my desired date to have a meeting with one of the recruiters about potential opportunities that I heard about. So I'm going to go ahead and select Max, and I'm going to schedule him for 9 a.m. And then I can fill out my details here. Bear with me. Okay. And then I can book this appointment with Max. And this appointment is actually an online meeting. It is a Teams meeting. All of the back and forth of scheduling and when are you available, when am I available, find time, needed no more. Basically, it's looking directly at Max's calendar from a recruiting standpoint, and it's seeing these are the hours that he is free, that he's able to book, right? And if he wanted to buffer some time there, he could just create blocks on his calendar. He could also specify, right, certain hours based off of his calendar. But essentially what this is doing is it's trying to say, hey, the end state of this is to try to get these potential candidates in the door so we can recruit the top talent for our company. And you can see here that this is an online meeting here. Now, these other breakout sessions are actually Teams meetings as well. But for the sake of pre-scheduling the breakout sessions, if you actually, I'm going to show you, click into one of these. If you click into information, it's actually going to tell you you'll receive the link to the event in your email confirmation. So essentially, you're going to sign up for this for one of the available time slots. Like, okay, so we're at 12:43 now, right? I can only attend the one that's upcoming at 2 p.m. now. So I can sign up for this breakout session specifically. This is the one that I'm interested in. And again, keep in mind, all of that information, who's attended all of these meetings and these live events, you have a record of all of that in Microsoft Teams. All of that information is being captured. So now, again, users can sign up for breakout sessions in advance if you want, and one-on-one recruiting appointments. You could create a separate bookings page just for recruiter appointments. It doesn't have to be associated to this event. I just wanted to show the stages from live keynote, overview, breakout sessions, drill down, and then, hey, outcome, we want to get some recruiters talking to these potential candidates to see if they would be, good hires for our open opportunities. So, and how you do this inside of Teams here is that I'm just going to go to, let me show you, sorry, let me back up. To get to your bookings app. So again, once you create that calendar, if you were on the last meeting, you actually saw that in the bookings app in Teams, I could see that whole calendar. So again, anyone who's tied to the bookings calendar is going to be able to see everything that's booked for the event or booked from a recruiting follow-up standpoint. So this, if you log in to office.com, you will see an app for bookings. And when you click that, you are going to be taken into bookings, right? And you can clearly see just from, right, it's tied to Outlook. It's just FYI, if you have retention policies in place, right, that's aligned to Exchange, just for those of you on the technical side. So here, okay, so essentially what I did is I set up business information. So, right, we have Contoso, Virtual Career Connection is just what I called this. And Microsoft Teams meeting, there is nothing that's in person. This is all virtual. I specified business hours. The event is 9 to 5 today. Really, if you had a week-long event, you could specify. And then even, right, these is so essentially today's the only day from a booking standpoint. So that's how I set this up, is the way that I looked at this. And again, you can come and you can take the, you can essentially get rid of the bookings or like shut it down, after the fact, so people can't actually book after your event. If they have a bookmark to it, you can basically take away the types of appointments so they can't book any further. But as you're seeing here under appointment type, this is where I created each type of appointment type. And if you look here for a recruiter appointment, so I have all of my staff here, right? And you can see here, I can click on and off. So I'll just say these are all of the recruiters that are available to be booked. And, I can add a description. I can share this page to this appointment type specifically. So if I just wanted to target, for example, you can also, for default location, I manually typed in Microsoft Teams online meeting. And then this is add online meeting. So this is what is scheduling the Teams meeting between anyone that is booking and the individual that they're selecting. So whatever recruiter. Default duration, so it's a 1-hour meeting. You could schedule buffer time as well if you wanted to. Enable the customers or whoever is booking, making the appointment, to enable them to be able to cancel if they need to or reschedule. Maximum number of attendees. In this case, right, these are one-to-one meetings, recruiter candidate. So in this case, maximum attendees is 1. We don't want anybody else attending that meeting. Recruiter could invite somebody in if they wanted to and add them to the meeting invite. There's pricing even, right? So in the context of, maybe from retail standpoint, a scenario again that you're going to see if you attend another one of the sessions is you'll actually see that from a pricing standpoint, like in the retail store, like maybe you have free initial consultations, but maybe you have, hey, this member has a saved, list based off of items that they want, and maybe their booking is, I want you to select from my list consultant, and I want you to pick out the things that you think I would like and send them to me. So again, that could be price varies based off of their list. So just an example. You can specify and modify custom fields. So if you want to add, in this case, we're only requiring customer email. You can also add a question. So again, fully customizable from an email confirmation standpoint. So this will be, you can specify reminders and email confirmations in terms of what these say. So I'm going to show you that for one of the breakout sessions, what that looks like. Time increments, lead time, max lead time. Again, so just really take a look inside of bookings, and it's going to let you modify this, how you need this page to display to accommodate your virtual event. So literally, possibilities are endless in terms of what you're able to do with it. So you can even see here availability during these dates, 6/5 to 6/5, bookable when the staff is free. And again, in this case, I'm selecting, everyone, because all of these recruiters are available essentially when they're available. And in this case, this appointment type is basically pulling from their individual calendars. So I'm going to go back to appointment type, and I'm going to pull up this breakout session, because what I want to show you is what did I do different for this one. So in this case, right, this is it is a Microsoft Teams meeting, but I didn't actually add an online meeting. And I have this set at the maximum attendees of 250, because if most of you should know, if not, max attendees for Microsoft Teams meetings is 250. It is raising to 300 soon. But I just specified it as max attendees for that amount for this particular breakout session. And then in this case, again, it's for 6/5. But what I did here is I created, for the sake of planning, right, because that's what you want to do. And I'm going to go in just a minute, and I'm going to actually show you as a team, as you're creating these virtual events, how you collaborate and communicate. But as a team, right, wanted to set this up in advance, right? We want this, we don't want to have to do a bunch of work right at the last minute. So this was set up in advance. It's an online meeting that was set up specifically for this breakout session and the others. And then, this is available on that booking page. Again, I'm not going to go back through these settings, but that's the difference here is I didn't want it to automatically add an online meeting. I wanted to actually set it up in advance and then customize around that. So you have that option to do that. You also have the option clearly of being able to do it in person as well. So when things do free up, you do have the ability to do that. Okay, so with that, breakout sessions, one-on-one recruiter appointments, all inside of Teams, right? Again, so you have your Yammer community from an engagement standpoint, from a keynote perspective. You're drilling down and hosting, and you're getting smaller and smaller with your audience as you go, really trying to capture the attention and capture the excitement of those potential candidates. So then you're thinking, okay, that's fantastic. How do we organize all of this? Well, that's a great question. So inside of Microsoft Teams, actually, I'll just go back here. Inside of Microsoft Teams, so you can see here, I actually have a virtual recruiting team that I have created. And inside of this, you can see here, I have the general channel, right? But I'm not as concerned about that. So I have a June virtual career fair showing and an upcoming virtual recruiting event for a specific company, right? Again, all of these can be customized based off of the events. And again, this is just how I structured the team. You could structure it differently. And then I have a hidden channel for the upcoming July virtual career fair, which I want to hide right now because it's not the focus because we need to get through June. So the team that's responsible internally for facilitating this should have their own space, right? This is an ongoing initiative, essentially to recruit the best talent and do so virtually. So how we're going to do that is we're going to engage and we're going to plan inside of our team. So you can see here, I have planner up here, for example. So how do you keep the team organized in terms of who's responsible for what? Create a planner. So in terms of management of this June virtual career fair, because right, the same thing, planner for July should be in there as well, is it's a facilitation of the tasks that need to be completed in order to actually have and host this event. Now I did put some, July just to show you like what that would look like. But really, if it was me that was facilitating this, I would have, my June planner, my July planner, again, keeping it separate. But you could put them together if you wanted to. So just, again, options, lots of options. And you can also, those of you haven't used Planner before, you can actually create labels, add new buckets. This is very much a Kanban style board, and really easy, drag and drop, labeling, adding individual status, just very, very business friendly, very easy to use sort of task management. And I'm actually going to be talking about that in an upcoming session as well. So if you want to learn more about Planner, attend the next Try This session. But what I also wanted to show is the fact that I have the career connection pulled right here inside of the team itself. So right, I can interact with this right actually within the team itself. I'm not having to go log into Yammer, have my Yammer app up even. I actually have all of it contained here right within inside of Teams. Now this, to be honest, this is a website that I plugged in the direct URL for Yammer. There is a Yammer Communities app available, but it's pulling in classic mode right now. So I love the new interface. I think it's amazing. I think they're doing amazing things. So like directly within this, I wanted to show that, as we're planning our event, we can just go in here as a team and create these events without me having to go log into Yammer anywhere else. So just know the Communities app will pull through that, the new Yammer interface as well. I just couldn't show it in this particular case, so I pulled it through as a website URL. Again, that's why you gotta love Microsoft. There's 5 different ways to do the same thing. So in this case, it's great because as things get posted, if individuals inside of the external community have questions, you're going to be able to interact directly within the team itself without having to flip in and out. In addition to that, I just want to call out that a lot of customers have Dynamics as well. So think about Dynamics marketing. Think about the virtual chatbot agents. Think about the rich ways that essentially you can carry on that engagement, like putting an actual bot out inside of Yammer, inside of this external connection community. So frequently asked questions, like have an automated bot, right? There's an FAQ bot that you can go ahead and build out specifically for Yammer, that's going to be able to help facilitate some of that conversation and streamline, so you're not constantly having to check inside of Yammer. But it's really great because, again, Teams puts at your fingertips the ability for you to facilitate that collaboration, communication, and productivity, again, inside of one platform. So great way in terms of staying organized, specifically facilitating these types of events. And again, all inside of Teams, all within the 365 platform. Live events are included with your licensing. Booking is including with your licensing. Teams is included with your licensing. So you're not having to pay additional for these things. You don't have to go out and have a separate application or pay for a separate event, when really you can be very creative with the tools that you have. And back to the dynamics comment, if you have dynamics marketing, then you're talking about building entire campaigns and being able to quickly sift through resumes that are essentially attached in the database on the back end for these potential candidates, where you can trigger on essentially keywords. And you're able to do with the dynamics integration within Teams. And I wish I could show you that here, but I think that's a whole nother session for us to do. Maybe we'll do that maybe in July or August timeframe, is to actually show you that connection and how you're facilitating the entire campaign around these virtual career fairs, and how you're able to drill down if somebody's attending your event. If you create a form and have them register and submit their resume in advance and it's on file, you can actually trigger on keywords, and potentially if they're attending the event, you can have a sidebar conversation with them and pull them into a meeting. So again, really fantastic ways for you to be able to leverage the technologies you own, and really from an integration standpoint, have it all connected on the back end. So I hope that this was a really valuable session in terms of the way that you can leverage your current tool set to recruit top talent. Again, thank you so much for joining today. Just to wrap up, again, please join us next Friday. We have another double-decker event. It's all around controlling people flow. Again, we're going to look at bookings and we're going to look at shifts. So as individuals are returning to the workforce, how can you control that? I've got customers that are saying, hey, we're opening up 25%, we're going to open up 50%. We're trying to decide how we're going to open up. How can you control that people flow? And then if you actually have brick and mortar locations out in the field, how are you controlling people flow that way into salons, into retail spaces? We're going to show you ways, again, with what you own today, that you are able to control that people flow and have that visibility roll up the chain from a management perspective, ensuring that you're within compliance. And then again, quick and easy power apps. That is going to be an awesome session. I highly encourage everyone to attend it. I want to thank you again for joining us today on this Try This at Work session. It was an absolute pleasure, and I absolutely look forward to hosting you all again next Friday. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend, and we will talk to you again soon.